how it is. Yes, I'm sure. Thank you. Is there something else running back there?
Volume 1?
Not that I know of. This is off. It's got to turn itself off. I can't do that. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm not politically correct and I don't care. So, there's so much I want to share today with you. Our prayer, that's what I'm missing. Marlena, you want to come up here and do this? Oh, I think I got the batteries in backwards. Good Lord. You all pray for me, right? Just having a bad day. No, I'm not. I'm not having a bad day. I'm just...
One of those days. Do I have glasses on top of my head?
You do have glasses on top of your head.
Thank you.
Pray for all of us.
Thank you.
This is called the Not Prayer. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dear God, please untie the knots that are in my mind, my heart, and in my life. Remove the have-nots, cannots, and do-nots. Erase the will-nots, may-nots, might-nots that might find a home in my heart. Release me from the could-nots, would-nots, and should-nots that obstruct my life. And most of all, dear God, I ask that you remove from my mind, my heart, and my life all of the am-nots that I have allowed to hold me back, especially the thought that I am not good enough. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, but I think I did it wrong. I'd appreciate if you'd fix that. Sorry.
It exploded.
I can't think and talk at the same time. So if you would like the prayers, there are words here, and they're making their way slowly to my mouth. So what I had in mind was creating a pamphlet, a booklet of prayers, and have it available that we could get to you in physical form. That hasn't happened yet. So I would prefer to do it that way. If I haven't achieved that, I'll put them on the website. But we'll make that happen. Yes, I would like you to have the prayers. Prayers are good. Speaking of prayers, next week we're going to have an appetizer snack luck right after services and a prayer vigil. So if you would like to have, we'll have some prayers available for you if you want to just read a prayer for yourself, light a candle and pray, or if you'd like to have someone pray with you, they can either read one of the prayers or wing it, as the case may be. So there'll be people to pray with you, or you can have silence in the sanctuary to pray. But we'll have a snack luck after services, so bring a snack, and then we'll do the prayer thing. So right after services next Sunday, so that'll be fun. Okay, I think I'm up to date with everything else I need to say. So let's talk about the baby Jesus. Let's talk about the baby Jesus. So in order to talk to you about the baby Jesus, to give you the instruction and information that I want you to have, I gotta go all the way back to Adam and Eve. Because there's a lot of people who perceive Adam and Eve incorrectly. And if you perceive Adam and Eve incorrectly, then the whole purpose of Jesus is misconstrued. And his whole life is misconstrued. And his death and ascension is misconstrued. So I want you to get the truth. I want you to get what I perceive to be the truth. So you don't have to believe what I believe. Believe whatever you want to believe. But I'm going to give you my perspective. And take it for what it's worth. It's just my opinion of how it is. So not many people are in alignment with that. So I could be really wrong. or not. So you decide. Let your heart decide what's right for you. But here's how I see it. I see Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. They're innocent. They're wandering around no clothes. They're innocent. And they don't have any shame. And that'd be nice to not have any body shame. But we got shame, don't we? So anyway, they're walking around, and then, you could do whatever you want, have whatever food. Don't eat of this one particular tree. Now, some people believe that was God's setup because he knew we were just slimy, crummy human beings and we were going to fail anyway. I don't think so. I think that tree was a litmus test when people became aware. And when they became aware, then they couldn't just hang out and be free. They needed to have livelihood. They needed to have worthy effort. Because without worthy effort, they didn't find value in what they were doing. So if you take that perspective, okay, so it's not about you evil human being. It's about awareness, waking up, and coming to the conclusion, oh, I have shame. I know I did a wrong thing. When a child is growing up, when they're really little and they can pull something off a counter, it's like, I need to move that. Because they don't know what they're doing. But when a child is 16 and yanks something off the counter and breaks it, that's a whole different story, isn't it? Because they know perfectly well what they're doing. So it's accountability. It's not about God being mad at us. And what's the first thing God did? He made them clothes. If he hated us, why would he do that? Beats me. Didn't make sense to me. That's why the other makes more sense to me. So then we bring present time into Christ time. And let's face it, it was pretty politically messed up. It was religiously messed up. So the land of Judea was occupied by an external military force, the Romans. And they were not nice people. Jews were pretty much a despised race of people and have been throughout time. So they had the Roman soldiers that were not nice to them. And then the religious structure at the time was totally corrupt. It was totally corrupt. So if you had the Jewish process was offering sacrifices, and those sacrifices weren't to take away sin, but were to roll them forward another year. So you would take something that you raised, and it was wonderful, a lamb or a bird or whatever. I don't know about you, but people get attached to their birds. People get attached to the lambs that they do, but they have to sacrifice something. So they bring this creature and present it to the high priest, and the high priest says it's not good enough. You have to go buy one from our vendor out front. And they were getting a kickback from the sale of that said thing. So what would they do? They would give the bird or whatever they had nurtured, and they'd have to buy something else. So it was this big trap. Women did not have a direct connection with God. Women couldn't even go into the sanctuary area. They had to stay out in the courtyard. Only men could enter. And then only a high priest could go into the Holy of Holies. So it was just a difficult time for the Jewish people. It kind of is like the way we feel sometimes in our world. Things are not fair. There's oppression. And there certainly is a lot of religious corruption, is there not? So people were disheartened. They couldn't just pray to God. That wasn't part of their culture. That wasn't part of opportunity for them. No, you could have the priest pray for you, but that wasn't really a personal thing. But they had been promised a Messiah. They had been promised someone who would deliver them. And when you have hope, you can endure a lot, can you not? So then you get this picture. Here's these people who are without hope, but have a glimmer of hope. and this bright star in the sky, and angels singing, saying, glory, hallelujah. Here's what the angel said. Listen, really, really listen to this. I'm going to start at verse 8 of chapter 2 of Luke. An angel of the Lord suddenly stood before them. Well, they were keeping watch over their flock. That's verse 8. I missed that one. Sorry. And the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terribly afraid. You know, I think the first time some of us have seen an angel, we were like, oh my God, what is that? Yeah, it's scary. And the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good news, and of great joy, which shall be for all the people. All the people. For today, in the city of David, there has been born to you a Savior who is Christ the Lord, or the Anointed One. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths lying in a manger. And suddenly there appeared with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, saying, they're saying this to you today, saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among men, with whom he is well pleased. Jesus didn't come to earth because you're a rotten piece of scum. Came because he's well pleased. God is well pleased. And wants you to have hope, wants you to have a better way of living, wants you to have something really special in your life. Joy. And Jesus lived this wonderful life where everything he did from a place of purposefulness and pure intent. The Bible said he didn't sin. All those times when we get caught up with somebody, have to be right, or, oh, they cut me off, so I have to cut them off, or, you know, all that stuff, the powers. Jesus had all the power. Who was he going to struggle with? There was no power struggle. And he had the strength to stand up to the religious hypocrisy and say, whoa to you guys, whoa, but whoa. They knew they were doing wrong, and they were doing it anyway because it was power. And Jesus brought to us a different kind of power. Not the power of force, but the power of love, power of compassion, the power of joy. And religious groups get all hung up on the cross thing, and they forget about the ascension. Yeah, we have a cross at the back of the room, and there's a dream catcher on it, because the cross is all about the price has been paid, and the dream catcher is let's capture all the nightmare of religion has thrown on the journey of Jesus. Because the journey of Jesus is this journey of being that pure, innocent being without judgment on it, without any, he didn't do wrong. Everything he did with this pure motivation. People have often cast Jesus as the bad guy because, oh, he was in a fit of rage, he drove the animals away from the temple. Wait a minute, have you read that? Go back and look at that again. He sat and he made a whip of leather to drive the oxen off. That, you can't be in a fit of rage and do that. That takes choice. He chose to do that, and he just wanted to get those animals moving. Can't you just see that? Tables flying, animals running, money falling into the horse poop, and or not the cow poop and all that stuff. Don't you think that would be birds flying loose and free? Yes, go Jesus. He's my hero. Because he brought to us, Jesus is this gateway for us to reclaim our innocence. Not ignorance, not like a 2-year-old, oh, la, 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 I just don't know any better. But being accountable, knowing right from wrong, and doing right anyway. Not out of power, not out trying to be better than somebody else, or not trying to win, but to be this compassionate, loving spirit of light that we really are. And that's why God is pleased with us. Not because we're bad, human, terrible beings that are always going to fail. No, we get it right a lot. In the New Testament, sin talks about, is the definition for, it's an archery term. You shoot an arrow and you miss the target, what do? Oh, I'm just a terrible, horrible human being, I guess. No. You get another arrow and you re-aim. And you pay attention to the wind and you notice where you're heading. You refocus, that's all. When you don't follow exactly what you would like to be, oh darn, I got in that power play again. That same family member. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. You just try again. Try it differently. Get some new insights about that. And you have this perfect example of that, of this gateway energy that had not existed on this planet before. This was new energy that entered into the world right here, this Earth planet that we're on, and it opened this gateway for us to have a way back to that innocence, not ignorance, but this innocence with accountability. In other words, you're not accountable for, I'm trying to find the right words here. You're not under retribution for making a mistake. You get to try again. When we stop trying, that's a bad sign. Try again. Grab another arrow. You got to make an arrow, got to find an arrow, go get an arrow. Sometimes we have to have extra help. We don't know, we don't know. So there's other people in the world say, hey, you might want to try lifting your elbow a little bit. Remember, I used to take an archery class in college. First arrow I shot was pretty bad. But I learned, and eventually I got really good, and then I got cocky. I know you can't imagine that. But I did. And so I had the good form going, and I forgot to turn my elbow out. I was bruised from here to here, hurt for weeks. It was terrible. But I learned that hurt. I wasn't going to do that again. And I learned to turn that elbow out and get some more strength in my wrist so I could do that. The things that happen to us that are painful aren't here to prove to you you're a bad person. They hurt because our soul is going, oh, there's a better way. I don't know what that way is. I better figure that out. Because this hurts, I don't want to hurt anymore. If it's painful, I'm not doing that again. So I get to shift. I get to find new ways of doing things. And when we find a new way of doing things, we get better and better and better and better and better at it. And then we can move the target back further, or we can do it in different circumstances. It's just we get to challenge ourselves in a new way. But it's not about being bad. Here's the thing, when we're first incarnate in this physical form, our energy fields are primarily in our crown chakra and our base chakra. We're straight from divine source, we're straight from spirit, and we're here physically. And that's about it. Here we are. And we can't really do much. People have to help us, feed us, teach us stuff. And then our energy will move to the second and the second chakra and the third eye chakra for your perceptions. So who you are, how you perceive your world is kind of based on how you see yourself in your tribe, your family, and the experiences that you have. And then your energy moves to your throat chakra and your solar plexus. So this is the individuation where you are a person, you're a real person, you're becoming accountable. And you can speak your truth. You can know what your truth is. And they meet in the heart space. Then the physical energy moves up to the throat and the spirit energy moves into the solar plexus. So it inhabits this part of the body and brings new information, new awareness, until you have gone through that whole cycle. And then your body will cycle through again. Some people can do it in 7 years. Some people take 7 years in a chakra. Depends on what your life circumstances are. So when we get to the heart space, this is where we're in a place of knowing and having accountability and being able to make choice for ourselves. make choice for ourselves. If we short circuit that process, in other words, if we've had trauma in our life and we start to move this energy up and let the divine source filter down, bring us more awareness of who we really are spiritually, and this energy of physical form is starting to manifest itself, comes to the throat chakra, we cry, wail, try to speak our truth. Sometimes we speak our truth, with the pendulum goes the other way. First we can't say anything at all, then we talk too much and say things that we don't mean. So, we're trying to figure out what's the truth for us and how to balance that out. When we get up to the third eye here, this is how we perceive spiritual truth in the world. So if you're in a religion that causes you to believe or perceive that you're bad, that filters everything, does it not? And if we don't allow the energy to get past that, if we feel too bad, we can never get to the crown chakra. And you know what's at the crown chakra? When the energy hits there, the physical energy gets there? Bliss. Remember how you felt when that song was playing and the great I am, and then there was silence? That's what it is. But when we're here, we're cluttered with, it should be this way, and I gotta think this, and what am I thinking, and I don't know what, make ourselves nuts. Do we not? And here's what happens. The energy gets past here, and we start to feel anxious and stressed and difficult. And when things are anxious, and stressful and difficult, we bleed the energy off. We don't make the rest of the journey. How do we do that? We go cry on somebody's shoulder. Now here's the thing. If somebody's really suffering, like they just lost a loved one, our sweet Susan Hoos had just lost her mama, and she's really suffering. She went to go be with her kids to help, because they'll give her great comfort. Susan doesn't cry much. And so for her it's really difficult. So if you can be with somebody who's suffering like that and hold them and care for them and touch them, that's really helpful. But if you know somebody's working through some processes and they start to get spun up, let them spin. Don't hand them a tissue. Don't pat them on the arm. Let them have it. Let them experience their trauma. Because if they do, they will break free and they'll get to bliss. Because when it gets to the crown chakra, then there's this divine enlightenment. And all of the chakras light up. All of the chakras get clear. If you find yourself struggling, it's real easy to download your energy either by getting mad at somebody. We do that, don't we? Pick a fight. And then that energy bleeds off and we don't have to deal with it. Well, guess what? Deal with it. Let that stuff bubble up. Nobody dies from having emotion. It's not a death sentence. May feel like that. But on the other side of that is bliss. And Jesus is this gateway to innocence. You're reclaiming your innocence. Go for it. Go for it. Find a safe place and run with it. See what happens. It's like a big giant bubble, and this big bubble is all this anguish and angst and all that stuff. Well, how thick is a bubble? The edge is just really thin. And you push through that, and when you push through that, or you fall into that, on the other side of that is this uplifting bliss of knowing that you're safe. You're okay. You're right where you need to be. You're doing right what you need to do. You'll figure it out. More information will come for you. And Christ is this gateway energy that brought that to us. Until his birth, there was no passageway for anyone to get to this state of being. So how fortunate that we're in this time and space that we can access this energy. That we can move from the here and now of struggling into bliss. Now here's the thing, struggles never stop, but the anguish can, the sorrow can, the pain can, and what's left is this joy that extends beyond understanding. Not because we're bad people, trying to find our way back. No. There's this sacred part of you that knows its way home. Let it. Let it come home. Let it reclaim its innocence. And when you're in this state of innocence, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks of you, does it? And it won't matter all the shoulds, have tos, oughta, gotta, must. Stuff just falls away. And what's left is this powerful, courageous, accepting, compassionate being who is at peace with themselves. And that's what Jesus brought. Peace on earth. Goodwill to men. It's a gift. We get to receive it. Mr. Phil, if you would join me up front.
We have blessings. We have good thoughts for everyone today. I don't know if you want me to pick one for you or you can pick one yourself.
Imagine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Merry Christmas. Can't you just maybe pass that down? Thank you. Does the puppy need one?
Does Oscar need one too?
Oscar.
Oh, okay. You do the flamingos?
Okay, first one for you two people.
Okay.
Reach for the stars.
Hey, YouTube. Can I just pass the basket? This is passing the basket in reverse.
Our favorite way.
I can do this real easy. I do it all the time.
What, taking money out of the basket? Oh.
That too. No, daydreams is a mandatory daily exercise.
Ah, absolutely.
We rise by lifting others.
Nice. Nice.
Keep them for the camera, honey.
Huh?
Would you keep them for the camera?
Okay. Daydreaming is a mandatory daily exercise. And we rise by lifting others. What you got there? You're killing it. All right. What'd yours say, Lori? What's yours say?
Oh, what does mine say?
That's it. If you were a fruit, you'd be a fine apple. Okay. Other side. Yeah, we're the only church that starts with the Doobie Brothers, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Nice. Yours is long. Yours is long. Say, go ahead. A laugh to be joyous must flow from a joyous heart, for without kindness there can be no joy. True. Hey. Morning. It is like a fortune cookie. What does yours say?
Good on ya.
Good on ya.
Thickest darkness, the sun, the stars shine brightest.
Cool. Let's do that. Let's do that again. The thickest darkness, the stars shine brightest.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is nice. Yeah,
I like that.
it is nice. Do you need to?
I think
One for Ron? What you got, Misty? Oh, you got a long one.
You are special and appreciated. Do something thoughtful for someone else and keep the positive energy flowing. The smallest act of kindness can go a long way.
Now that's officially the longest one, I think, right there. Yep.
The other side says something else.
Oh, it does?
A gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and
Hans.
accomplish miracles.
Oh, okay. People just sneaking in all over the place. Yeah. Would you get the back room for me? Oh, hello. Can I pass that down, please?
2 hours later.
Yeah, I know. But, and so it goes. There you go. All right. Merry Christmas! I mean, you can't have a Christmas like before much better than wake up with a little bit of snow on the ground. It's supposed to be some more snow tomorrow morning. You just never know what you're going to get here. It's half the fun. We do have a couple patron saints of the Divine Fellowship by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, "Life is what happens while you are busy making other plans." Absolutely. And George, the Golden Gate Bridge should have a long bungee cord for people who aren't quite ready to commit suicide but want to get a little practice. It's George. If you listen to him, that's mild. Yeah, it is actually a pretty dang good idea, isn't it?
right.
Yeah. More t-shirts. Just because you are offended doesn't mean you're right. If I learned from my mistakes, I'd be a genius. My body is experiencing technical difficulties right now. And I'm looking forward to regretting this. I like that one. I like that one a lot. So, all right. Little kids, describing love. This is Carl, age 5. That's not the right one. I did that one. This one. Wait a minute. Did I do that one? Terry, age 4. Love is what makes you smile when you're tired. Isn't that nice? And Danny, age 7. Love is when my mommy makes coffee for my daddy and she takes a sip before giving it to him just to make sure the taste is okay. Actually, I think for a long time, about, 25 years ago when we drank sodas every once in a while, Jan, I would have to open the can and I'd take the first little sip. So Jan was all set for something like that until one day she opened up herself and just poured it on herself. Not used to somebody taking the first sip. Amazing things we can't forget, huh? Okay. Almost all of our faults are pardonable than the methods we resort to hide them. Every truth passes through 3 stages before it is recognized. In the first, it is ridiculed. In the second, it is opposed. And in the third, it is regarded as self-evident. In quarreling, the truth is always lost. Absolutely true. Absolutely. All right. The song, Happy Birthday to You, was originally written by sisters Mildred and Patty Hill as Good Morning to You. The words were changed when it was published in 1935. Annual royalties for the song average about $2 million a year. Wow. So, Get a good song. Leave a legacy. Wow. Okay. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Shakespeare. And every oak was once an acorn. It's true. It's true. Anything else going on for Christmas? Anybody going to do anything really fun, unusual, different, normal? What's normal? What is normal for Christmas? Josie, what are you going to do for Christmas? Go to a movie? You know, Jan and I did that for a number of years. Christmas Day, just go to a movie. It was always a lot of fun. So, Jimmy, what are you going to do?
I guess we'll go to a movie.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good one. Okay. Yeah, this I like this one. Perfect for today. While shopping in a food store, two nuns happened to pass by the beer section. One asked the other if she would like a beer. The second nun answered that indeed it would be very nice to have one, but she wouldn't feel comfortable about buying it. First nun replied, no problem. Got this one handled, no problem. She picked up a six-pack, took it up to the cashier. Cashier had a surprised look on their face, so the nun said, we use beer for washing our hair, sort of like a shampoo, if you will. Without blinking an eye, the cashier reached under the counter, pulled out a package of pretzels, and placed them in the bag with the beer. He then looked the nun straight in the eye and smiled and said, the curlers are on the house. Yeah. Huh?
Let's see this drawing here really quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great idea.
This is for the pet basket. And we're going to have Lori Miller.
All right. Okie dokie. I'm going to play a song, obviously. It's a Christmas song. I like it. It's one